Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And this is like the plot of the X-Files. So we know that Trump has been talking about disclosure. He wants the government to disclose everything it knows about UFOs. And not that that was supposed to rhyme. Everything it knows about UFOs. Anyway, we had the guy who apparently has all the secrets or would know all the secrets. This is a retired Air Force major. He has gone missing since the announcement that Trump wanted us to disclose everything about UFOs. What is going on?
That's weird. Did the aliens come and get him?
Or a foreign power got him. Apparently he went for a walk. Now what's weird is he went for a walk and apparently he left his phone and he just like
weird.
Disappeared.
Well, I mean, I leave my phone sometimes, but yeah.
This should concern people because there clearly is something going on here. Now, a morbid thought is he could have, the reason he didn't take his phone with him or anything is he could have been planning to do something to himself rather than disclose whatever he knows. But this is a guy who worked at the Air Force Base where reportedly, allegedly, they would take the UFOs when we had down craft. And that's kind of the first step at reverse engineering these craft. Again, if you believe this stuff, but there clearly is something going on here. And we'll talk about it. We'll see what's going on. Try to make sense of it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So let's walk it back here a little bit. And remember, what was this, like a week ago? I guess it's been about 2 weeks. Trump said that he was going to look into disclosing everything that we know about UFOs. Mm-hmm. Well, he was going to direct his departments to do that. Now, whether or not they're going to do anything, that's a whole nother issue because
I'm leaning towards the not, but anyway.
I'm leaning toward the not as well because there have been presidents before that wanted the country to come clean about UFOs, and the presidents usually aren't clued in as to what's going on. They might get an overview, but this was in response to Obama saying, oh, yeah, I think aliens are real, whatever. And that whole thing was blown out of proportion. But he said, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomenon, and unidentified flying objects.
Where's the USOs?
Yeah, right. Where are the USOs? And any and all
those are
other
the water
the water ones, yeah. And any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Yeah. So at some point UFOs became UAP because they're just like, you know, they're not going to call them flying saucers or objects.
Well, it's not always an object. UAP. It could be like some other things they call it, phenomena. And then they didn't put USOs under there. It was just like what unidentified, what is it? Submersible
object or something. Yeah. They're look, the UFO theorists believe that
ancient alien theorists suggest.
They believe that the aliens are underwater. So James Cameron was right, if that's true, that they actually have bases underwater.
They also believe the aliens were the ones that brought us pot, but that's a whole other story.
That's a whole nother story, yeah. So let's take a look at this. This is a very weird thing to have this guy disappear. New York Post has it. UFO experts' disappearance in New Mexico is a grave national security crisis. Well, yeah, because even if it's not related to UFOs, the fact that this guy is missing and he's got all those secrets.
Well, he didn't have any dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that, did he? And he just forgot where he was?
I don't know. I don't know. They said law enforcement said William Neal McCasland, 68, disappeared after leaving his Albuquerque, New Mexico home on foot, leaving his phone behind in a missing persons investigation that has since been joined by the FBI. So apparently he made the silver alert. This is a man with some of the most sensitive secrets in the U.S. in his head. Journalist Ross Coulthart said in the latest edition of his Reality Check podcast, adding that McCasland possesses deep knowledge about what the U.S. government might be hiding regarding extraterrestrials. So the sheriff's office issued a silver alert for the missing retiree, seeking help from the public in locating him and noting that law enforcement's concern for his well-being are exacerbated due to his medical issues.
Okay, so maybe he has medical issues of some kind. So
yeah.
that's what I'm wondering. Does he have some kind of dementia or something like that. Did he forget where he was going? I mean, it could be that he went off on foot and someone, mugged him. It could be that, he tried to kill himself somewhere. It could be a number of things. Or it could be aliens. Aliens just like, hey, dude, we talked about this. You can't, release it. But if the U.S. government was going to release stuff anyway, why would they want him stopped? You know what I'm saying? But I do also know there's been a lot of instances over the years, and if you watch any of the alien shows, you know this, that there were people that knew a lot of stuff and they suddenly ended up dead or silenced and somewhere disappeared. Like they, Men in Black visited, and then they were gone.
Yeah, so that is a common theme. There are people who investigate this sort of thing. They tend to die young or die under mysterious circumstances, or there's some plausible deniability there, like they killed
Sometimes
themselves.
They just take off because they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to be questioned. They don't want to have to answer. So they're just like, oh, I'm not answering, and then they disappear, because they go off the radar more or less.
So this podcaster said McCasland's disappearance, this is what struck me as odd. His disappearance coincides with Trump making overtures about the U.S. government's knowledge about UFOs, saying the ex-general was supportive of giving the public more information about those classified topics.
A lot of them are supportive of it because they're like, this is stupid that we have to keep this all secret.
The timing is screechingly relevant. The fact that General McCasland disappeared off the face of the earth is a grave national security crisis for the U.S. This is a man with some of the most sensitive secrets in the U.S. in his head.
Well, we don't know he disappeared off the face of the earth. But if he did, the aliens did it.
Yeah, right. So here are the comments on the New York Post. It said, do you people not read the article about the man's knowledge of some of our most sensitive secrets? Yeah, because people probably being like, oh, the aliens are beaming him up.
Well, not even just the aliens thing. I mean, he's got probably stuff in there that, you don't want out.
Right. Nobody beamed him up. More likely, he may have been taken by one of our adversaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He could have been taken by friendly, too, because they were afraid to talk,
This person's like, what secrets? UFO secrets? Ha, 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 ha. He finally caught that ride. Mulder, trust no one. So yeah, it is crazy. So this is kind of his backstory as far as I could tell. McCasland spent decades in the Air Force, including command of the Phillips Research Site and Air Force Research Lab at Kirtland Air Force Base, the exact location tied to decades of UFO and reverse engineering rumors going back to Roswell. That's where supposedly anything that crashes, they send it to Kirtland Air Force Base, right? He was mentioned in the WikiLeaks documents as a key advisor on classified UAP projects, which is why journalist Ross Colher is calling this a potential national security nightmare.
It's also interesting. A lot of times journalists start talking to these people, and that's when they disappear as well.
Yeah, or they suddenly change their story. I was watching the Y-Files yesterday. I was driving and I was listening to the
You were listening to the Y-Files. You were listening.
I couldn't watch it. I was listening to it, but they were talking about
real. I can see it.
I can see it in my mind. They were talking about crop circles and how, I mean, a lot of them, I'm going to be honest. I mean, if there's any one phenomenon that has definitely perplexed people, it is crop circles. And they tried to make it out like, oh, it's a couple old guys just spoofing people, whatever.
Well, they've actually mimicked it.
They've mimicked it, but there's no way they can do the stuff that's been done, right? There's just absolutely no way. But
I'm not sold in the crop circles. But anyway, go ahead.
You're not sold in the crop circles? I actually am more inclined to believe crop circles over a lot of the other stuff.
I mean, some of the patterns are very intricate, and I would think it would take longer than a nighttime. And I guess I can see where's all the footprints around it. But I've also know that people have mimicked it, so it does make it like, well, maybe.
Well, the stalks, the grain stalks are basically microwaved, and that's how they bend.
Well, so but they're maybe.
And the flowers usually aren't damaged in this stuff. There's a lot going
on it, but anyway.
But they were talking about how, people in and around this phenomenon, they tend to go missing too, or they'll change their tune. Like they're all pro. Oh yeah, this is what's going on. The government's hiding it, whatever. And all of a sudden they shut up. Right. And,
what if the crop circles are just graffiti? Like everybody's like, it's a secret message. And it was probably like, for a good time, call Quagnart. And here's the phone number. I mean, because think about it, there's crop circles, they've been going on for years, right? But you only can see them in their full glory from aerial or from space. So it's big enough to try to send a message. So it's probably like, some graffiti, like it's alien graffiti.
Alien graffiti. I don't know. It could be. But
you can see it from space, or you see it from up in the sky. They'd be like, oh, that's the good rest stop right there. You want to go to that stall.
Humans don't like butt stuff. Stay away. No,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you know.
No, but it is very weird. I mean, my personal feeling on this, I mean, this is my personal feeling on the UFO thing is something is absolutely going on. I think we've actually had contact with
I believe that,
some kind of extraterrestrials. I think we're reverse engineering craft, and most of what people see that they attribute to being alien spacecraft are actually ours. I think
I
they're
agree
at
with that,
Black
too.
Ops. But I do think the origin of these things might have been extraterrestrial initially. Now, are we working with the alien? But it is weird that this guy goes missing as soon as Trump is saying, "Hey, we're gonna dump the
Well, that's what I'm
files."
saying. They were about his medical. So I'm like, does he have like some kind of like issue, or that's not like a mental memory issue, or is it a memory issue and they're not saying that, or is there nothing wrong with him and they're just saying that to try to discredit if they do find him anything he says? I mean, who
That could
knows?
be too. It could. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, some of the stories I've heard surrounding this thing, being as high up the totem pole as he is, they might have said, "Hey, your family could be in danger if they come knocking on your door and they want you to dump this stuff." And he might be like, yeah, I'm 68. I'm gonna go for a long walk and I'll come back. I don't know. I don't know. It's very weird.
I mean,
But
there's
this is
a
like
lot of things that could happen.
there are a lot of things that could happen. It's just a very weird timing. I mean, if you're gonna do
just an interesting number of instances where people are going to out something or release something, and then suddenly they disappear or they're dead, and they're talking to journalists, and it's happened.
yes, multiple
it's
times.
happened a few times. I mean, it's not like a whole lot of nickels, but was that if I had a nickel for every time? It happened a few times, but it's still,
Yeah, and some of these people have had legitimate like mental health issues or whatever. But then part of me is like, well, was that how you discredit them? They're
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're saying we're worried about his health, and I'm like, is that mean because they really are? Or they're trying to say that because if he says something or lets something out, oh, he was mentally unstable.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
or it could be that he just does have dementia or something or Alzheimer's. We don't know.
I don't know. So we'll see. But that's the latest. We don't know where it went. Crazy. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.